Introduction to SQL Server. Right. So introduction to DBMS or DBMS. Right. I mean basic things. Those things we already discussed. So now today I'm going to start working with our actual scenario, that is SQL development. Right. Correct, Aish. Yeah. Coming to next scenario. Today I'm going to work with SQL Server related scenarios. See, basically in project environment, we are going to work with minimum 3 servers. Okay. What are those three servers? Let us see. See, this is development server. Who is going to work with development server? Developers. SQL Server developers will be there. They are going to work with development server and they're going to develop the database. See, what is the meaning of develop? Creating tables, writing commands, writing queries, stored procedures. So these are all comes under development tasks. So that we do in development server, right? So after completion of the development, your database will be transferred to QA. In QA, test engineers team will be there. Okay, na? Here they are going to test the database developed by development team. After that, database will be transferred to production server. In production server, DBA team will be there. database administration team. They're going to take care of production server. So in this overall scenario, in development environment and QA environment, just we are going to work with only test data. Okay, now only test data we are going to use. Coming to next scenario. Important scenario here is based on data uses. We are going to work with different types of versions from SQL Server. Right? Okay, now because you take production server. In production server, we are using customers data. I mean, we are going to store customers data. Right? So production is really important for us because most important data is part of production. Right? So now you go to development environment and QA environment. There we are not going to work with production data, just the test data only. So some features of the SQL server is more than enough for those servers. But coming to production server, we need all features of the SQL. That's why based on type of server, we are going to work with different versions of the SQL, different editions of the SQL. Right. Now let's go to next scenario. we are going to discuss about different versions available in SQL Server. We have SQL Server 2000 version. This is also known as SQL Server 8.0. Okay, now. So next we have SQL Server 2005, which is also known as 9.0. Then 2008 version 10.0. After that 2012 11.0, 2014 2014 version we have 12.0, 2016 version 13.0, 2017 version 14.0, 2019 version 15.0. So these are the different versions we have in SQL Server to perform different types of tasks. So generally, if you have Windows 10 operating system, go for SQL Server 2019 only, right? Because compatibility is also really important for us. Compatible operating systems is required for us. In the same way, if you have SQL Server, Windows 11 operating system, nowadays Windows 11 coming, right, with laptops. If you have Windows 11 operating system, latest version is going to release, of course already available from SQL Server, that is 2022. Go for SQL Server 2022. So these are all you can directly download from Microsoft, just for practice purpose only. Trial version is available. You can download them and you can install them. So coming to next scenario, I told you based on edition, based on server type, we are going to work with the different editions of the SQL Server, that is Enterprise Edition. See, Enterprise Edition is top end edition of the SQL Server, right? So top end edition means it contains each and every feature of the SQL Server, which is required for us to perform database production storage related scenarios. That means maximum scenarios for production server, right? And maximum scenarios For production server, we are going to use enterprise edition only. Coming to next scenario, we have developer edition. Of course, in between we can go for some other edition, that is standard edition. The major difference between enterprise edition and standard edition is cost will be reduced. Of course, features also going to reduce. Some people are going to use standard edition for production, but maximum what we do, we are going to use enterprise edition only for production purpose, right? After that, we have developer edition, middle range, limited cost, limited features. Generally for QA purpose and development purpose, we use developer edition of the SQL Server. After that, we have Express edition. See, Express means, it is completely free edition. You can directly download it from official website of the Microsoft Corporation. But Express edition can be used for only practice purpose. Real-time purpose, we cannot use Express edition. Okay. Now. Real-time purpose, we use enterprise edition, standard edition, or developer edition, but not Express edition. Remember, please. Written. In the same way, let me show you how to download this one. Of course, I already prepared installation videos, but still I want to show you how to go for downloading SQL software for practice purpose. SQL Server. In search button, type it as like this. SQL Server 2019 download. Go to downloads website. But we are redirected to 2022. If you click on this download button, download under developer, but not Express. See that here it is showing developer edition, Express edition. Even this developer edition is also trial version for us, practice purpose only. Okay. So you can download it and install. Okay. Now. An installation video I will share. Next, after completion of the SQL Server installation, you have to go for Management Studio download. SQL Server Management Studio. Go to this website. Here you can see this 19.0. Previous version of the Management Studio 18, now it is 19. You download this version of the Management Studio and you can go for installation. Right. So in the beginning, what we do, we go for SQL Server installation. After completion of the SQL Server installation, we are going to download Management Studio and we are going to install Management Studio. Right? And so after finishing this, Management Studio installation, we are going to install, we are going to create database for practice purpose. So I will give you that database backup file. And coming to next scenario, the tool. What is the tool we are going to use to interact with SQL databases? Tool name is Management Studio tool. In shortcut, it is also known as SSMS. SQL Server Management Studio. So this is the tool we are using to interact with SQL databases and perform different types of operations. Now here we have Management Studio environment. Just click on Management Studio. This is your server. Connect. So this is Management Studio environment. You go to New Query series, where I'm clicking New Query. So after clicking on New Query, you have to select your database. Suppose my database name is Suresh DB. Use Suresh DB. That means I'm going to connect to Suresh DB database. Use Suresh DB means what? I'm going to connect to Suresh DB database. See, we have written some command here. How to execute this command? See here, you can go for execute button. See, like this. So even this tool is also we install after completion of the SQL installation, right? So in this way, we can connect it to databases in Management Studio, and we can perform different types of operations in Management Studio, right? This is the way like how we are working. And coming to next scenario. Now you have to go for SQL installation. And you have to perform different types of scenarios here. So now tell me, how many of you done with SQL installation, please? Aish, you attended my previous classes, right? Deepak attended. Hemant, you also attended, right?
Yes, sir.
Pallavi, have you attended my previous classes? I mean, demo session only. Last week we did demo. Pallavi, I cannot hear you. Message, please. Rajalakshmi, I think you attended demo, right?
No, sir. No,
Okay.
this is my first class. Yeah.
Saurabh Edo? Saurabh? Okay, no problem. Let's do one thing. Installation is important. Try to go for installation of the SQL today, because next step we have to start working with practical scenarios. That's why I'm requesting you all, go for SQL installation. So because if you face any issues with SQL installation, I can help you. That is the reason. Next class, I can help you in SQL installation. That is what my plan. Right? And clear, girl. So let's do one thing. So take it as new participants, you take it as demo. Old participants, continuation class, right? Anyhow, I'm going to start practical part from tomorrow. Lengthy sessions will be starting from tomorrow only. Okay, na? Right then. See you tomorrow. Right. What we discussed in the last session, any idea, please? Hello?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. We
Good morning.
discussed about the SQL version,
Hmm.
Enterprise Edition, Standard Edition, SQL versions, SQL editions, and how to download the SQL and setup. I mean, not setup, just download SQL Server and SQL Server Management Studio.
Okay, right, no problem. So let's go to next scenario. Today, we are going to discuss about data types concept. So what are the different data types available in SQL and how they're going to work? That and all I'm going to. So coming to next scenario. Bharat, okay, right, okay, Bharat. So coming to next scenario. Now, database means we are going to store different types of data. numbers, characters, date time data, currency values. Okay. So in this way, different types of data can be stored in databases. So now, coming to next scenario. If you want to store any type of data in SQL Server environment, you need supporting data types. Okay. So what are the data types available in SQL? That is really important. Today, I'm going to discuss about them. Tomorrow onwards, we are going to start with practicals, right? So coming to data types concept, number family. So in the beginning, we have to discuss about number family data. So number family, we have different data types again in the number family. So what are those data types in the number family? Integer. So integer means it is perfect number. It will not accept any decimal values. That is what integer concept. Perfect number means what? Without decimal values. Right? If any decimal value is there, we cannot store it in int. Next, float data type. See, in float data type, we can store only decimal values. Okay. So we have different data types to store different types of data. Right? And so now here integer for perfect numbers, float for decimal values.
Hello. Sir, you are not audible clear.
So here we have some other data type also. Right, now I think it's okay.
Yes, okay. Sir,
Type is numeric data type. This also comes under number only, numeric of p comma s. See, numeric is data type. P comma s is length of the data type. Okay, so here P stands for precision and S stands for scale. P stands for precision, S stands for scale. So what is precision and scale? We'll go for some example. Suppose I'm giving it as numeric of 5 comma 2. Right in. So 5 is precision, 2 is scale. Here, precision indicates total digits in the number. Total digits. Scale indicates number of digits after decimal point. So total 5 after decimal 2. That means we can go for 3 before decimal, right? Suppose this is decimal point. What is the scale value? 2. Scale is 2. That means you can go for 2 digits after the decimal point. Like, so total 5 we have given 2 after decimal, so we can go for 3 before decimal. So this value is scale and the overall value is precision. This is numeric data type. Is it clear or any questions, please? Numeric data type is clear. Clear, right? So you are not asking any questions means I feel clear. Right. So these are the data types we have in number family. Next step, we are going to work with the character data. So char of length. See, this is known as fixed length character data. In the same way, it accepts alphanumeric data. Alphanumeric means what? Mixing of character and number. Mixing of character and number comes under alphanumeric. It accepts it. Then it provides good performance also. Performance means what? Speed. Accessing speed of the databases comes under performance. Next, there is an issue with this data type only. Memory wastage. So when we are working with this data type, some memory wastage will be there, space wastage. But now the question is how this space wastage occurs. That is a question. I'll give you example. See, we already discussed in SQL we can store data only in the form of tables, right? And suppose we are working with some table. Table contains ename column. For ename column, I have given data type as char of 10. That means maximum of 10 characters can be inserted into ename column. Suppose I'm inserting my name Suresh. How many characters there in this name? 6. So we are inserting 6, so it has to occupy 6 byte space in the database. But what happens,
Only 6 character take. More than 6, not
6
allowed.
bytes it occupies. 6 bytes it occupies for the data, whatever we inserted into table. But extra 4 bytes, it will go for blank padding. Blank padding means what happens? Null value is going to store. So unnecessarily, we are going to lose data. I mean space. See this? If it is occupying only 6 bytes, then no issues. But it is occupying 6 bytes for the data, whatever we inserted. Remaining 4 bytes, it is going for blank padding, and that is a problem. So because of that reason only, some data loss will be there when working with this data type. But still, why it is there in SQL? Common question, right? Because we are going to work with some fixed length columns in the database system. Fixed length means every time we are going to insert the same data. That is the meaning of fixed length. True, 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 false, false, false. This type of data we are going to insert, right? Some columns, every time same data. So those columns we are going to use this data type. Otherwise, what happens, we are going to work with var of length. This is known as variable length character data. It also accepts alphanumeric data. Alphanumeric means mixing of character and number. Max size 8000 bytes. Previous scenario we discussed about fixed length character data. Even in that also we can store maximum 8000 bytes. That is the max limit. So in the same way, the only difference is no memory wastage. In this data type, what happens, whatever the data you are going to insert, it occupies memory for that only. No wastage. Right. So because of that reason only, maximum scenarios when we are working with this data type, no memory wastage will be there. That's why maximum for character data storage purpose we use varchar data type only. Okay. But remember, if you're going for char or varchar, you can store only 8000 maximum. Suppose the requirement is exceeding 8000 bytes, then what? We are going to work with varchar of max data type. So varchar of max, everything like varchar data type only. Same scenarios. Variable length character data accepts alphanumeric data. No memory wastage, but only difference is max size 2 GB. That is the only difference. Right? That is the only difference. So coming to next scenario. Now, these are the data types we have to store character data. After that, we have to work with the date time. We have different data types here. Small date time. I'm sorry. When we are working with this data type, we can store data up to 2079. So this is the maximum limit we have. Right? And up to 2079 year, we can store. But in the same way, we have some other data type, date time also. In date time data type, we can store data up to 9999 year. So this is the maximum limit for date time. But remember, if you're going for small date time or date time, you can store date value and time value also. Date value and time value also can be stored. So if you want to store only date, only time, even for that also we have data types like this. Because sometimes we are going to store only date values, only time values, right? So for that we can use these data types. So these are the data types we have in number family to store different types of data. Right? So coming to next scenario, we have money data type. See, what is the purpose of money data type? It is used to store currency values with the symbols. Here you can ask some question. So why you are going for separate data type? We have number family, right? We have different data types in number family, right? In number family, we can use we can store this type of data, right? Then why you are going for separate data type? Because there is some symbol, dollar symbol, check it. What is this dollar symbol? Special character. Of course, that is currency symbol, I'm accepting, but it is special character. So in number family, what happens, you cannot store characters and special characters. That is the scenario. So you want to store currency values and you want to go for calculations also. Right? You want to store currency values, in the same you want to go for calculations also. Then we are going to use this money data type. Remember, please. Then we have XML data type also. XML means like a file system. So XML storage we are going to do in SQL. There we are going to use this data type. Okay. So these are the major data types we have in SQL environment. SQL Server. So then what to do? We have to connect it to Management Studio. In the last class, yesterday, we have seen like how to connect it to Management Studio, because in SQL Server environment, we can store data only in the form of tables, right? So there is no other facility. So now coming to next scenario. To create tables, to develop all scenarios, we need some tool. The tool name is Management Studio only. So here we have Management Studio. I already installed SQL. Enrolled participants, you can talk to training team. They will give you access to SQL installation videos so that you can complete SQL Server installation. See this. This is Management Studio environment. This is your server. So now just click on connect button. So we connected to Management Studio. So here if you want to write queries, because generally we are working with SQL Server, means we are going to write queries, right? Go to new query window. So in this window, we can write and execute queries. But before that, we have to select our database name. Suppose my database name is Suresh DB. How can I select database like this? Use Suresh DB. Execute this statement so that you'll be connected to Suresh DB database. See here you have execute button. See that. Click on this. So what happened now? You connected to Suresh DB. Right? So after doing this task, after connecting to your database only, perform other type of operations. Perform remaining operations. So coming to next scenario, installation related scenarios I discussed previously. Like who is going to install SQL Server? DB. DB is going to install SQL Server. After completion of the SQL Server installation only, we create database. They only create database, right? And they only. Then we are going to work with that database. Now coming to next scenario. what are the different types of databases there? Because we have different types of databases. System databases, user databases. See, you are developer. See, this training is development training. So developer cannot create new database, but at least you know like what is database, what database contains. These things better to learn, right? Am I right or not? In the same way, while connecting to management studio, we provide some security scenarios like the login name, password, different authentications we have. So better to learn about those things also. So system databases, user databases. What is the difference? What is the purpose of system databases? Better to discuss all these scenarios. Because if you start working with the commands, queries, then you cannot go back to these things. That's why better to discuss these things in the beginning only so that you'll get perfect idea. Okay, fine. So from where we are going to start? What database contains? How data stores in the database? You'll get overall idea in the beginning only, so that the things becomes easy for you to understand, to work, right? In the same way, the language we are going to use is SQL language. SQL stands for what? Structured Query Language. So this is common language for database development. By using SQL language only, we are going to develop different databases. I mean SQL environment. In the same way, we have SQL also. SQL stands for Structured English Query Language. In the beginning, there was common language SQL only. Now it is SQL only. There is no SQL. That's why still we are writing it as SQL, but we are calling it as SQL. You also call it as SQL only. Okay. So in the same way, this language SQL contains some sublanguages. DDL, data definition language. DML, data manipulation language. DRL, data retrieval language. TCL, transaction control language. And DCL, data control language. See, your important thing is DRL commands we are going to use maximum in the project environment. Data retrieval language. So DRL means what? Retrieving data from the tables. Data retrieval language command, select command is used to retrieve data from the table. So that is regular operation. Because of that reason only, even in this training also, lot of topics there related to DRL. 7 to 8 topics there related to DRL. So you have to concentrate on that area. Even we are going to provide you maximum assignments related to DRL. I told you I'm going to provide you 200 assignments queries for practice purpose. So I'm giving those scenarios related to DRLL. That is the importance of DRLL, data retrieval language, in this training. So you have to concentrate on that area, DRL area. Okay. So this DCL area, data control language, means what are the different types of logins, authentications there, how we are going to work with them. I mean, generally when we use authentications while connecting to management studio, right? While connecting to SQL server, we are going to use different types of authentications, different types of logins. These are all we are going to use, right? And so those things also I'm going to discuss very clearly. Tomorrow I'm going to start working with DCL, data control language, security related scenarios. Very clearly I'm going to discuss. After that, I'm going to work with the databases creation. System databases, user databases, these are all I'm going to discuss very clearly in tomorrow's class, because now we have some time, but that is not enough for me to discuss those things. Even practical part also we are doing tomorrow. Okay. So tomorrow same time we'll start the class, and don't miss tomorrow's class. Okay. Right.
Yes, sir. Sir, I have one question. Hello.
Tell me, what is the question, Hemant?
Sir, there is a need every day we register. I don't get any link or
No,
drive
actually thing
access.
is, still it is demo session only. That's why we are doing around 45 minutes. Okay, now. Mostly
Okay, sir.
tomorrow day
So
after
when
tomorrow also will be like this. Now, as per my knowledge, Thursday onwards or Friday onwards, they're going to change the link. Then onwards, you no need to register every day. Even no need to register in the beginning also. Okay, na? Right?
okay, sir. Sir, okay. I means after 2-3 days, it will be going to start actual class.
Already some participants joined, enrolled for this training. Some of them waiting. So mostly today is Tuesday, right? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday onwards, mostly they're going to change the link. Or Thursday going to change link. That I will announce in the tomorrow's class. Better if anybody wants to continue this training, enroll with the Durga Soft so that you can get installation videos and access to Google Drive also. That's okay.
Okay,
Right.
sir.
Okay.
So actually, I
Deepak,
have
tell me.
paid the
Okay, no problem. I'll talk to training team. Okay, na?
okay, okay.
Okay, then. See you tomorrow. Right, all of you. So let's connect it to management studio. What we discussed in yesterday's class, any idea, please? Anybody? Any idea? Data types discussed, right?
Right, sir.
After that, today we have to start with commands part. So let us see that how to work with commands part. In the same way, if you want to work with command part, you should know how to connect it to Management Studio. This is Management Studio. Here we have, and from this only we are going to perform different types of commands. We are connected to new query window like this. But after connecting to new query, you have to select our database. Use database name. My database name is Suresh DB. Execute. Execution purpose, we are using this execute button. Okay. Now we connected to database.